Hello, hello. As we continue our Gossamer adventure, we are on chapter 23. It's almost Labor Day, John. Do you know what that means? The woman was washing the few breakfast dishes while the little boy measured dog food from a bag into Toby's bowl. World Series? He asked. Eat it, he added, speaking firmly to the dog, who was sniffing the blue ceramic bowl, because you're not getting any more of my bacon ever again. The woman, standing at the sink, laughed. You should never leave your plate where he can reach it, she reminded him. He's shameful. John scowled. I was going to sit on the floor and read the funnies while I finished eating. How was I supposed to know he was going to be so grabby? That's why they say live and learn, she told him. They both watched while Toby finally leaned towards his bowl and began to eat the dry dog food. You know what the dog food you know that dog food comes in cans? John asked suddenly. It smells horrible and it looks like throw up. Well, it probably smells delicious to dogs, but Toby can't eat that kind. It upsets his stomach. I know a guy who ate it. A human? Goodness. The woman wrinkled her nose. She hung up the dish towel and sat down at the table where her mug of tea was waiting. Why would a person do that? It was a little kid. He was just little. Oh, poor thing. He didn't realize it was dog food, I suppose. Parents have to be so careful. They have to keep a close eye on very little ones. I saw in a catalog that there is a special latch that you can put on the cupboard under the sink. You know where I keep the cleaning things? She pointed. If a toddler got into that cupboard, he might try to take a nibble of Comet or a sip of ammonia. That's dumb. It would taste terrible. She chuckled. But you said you knew of a little one who tasted dog food. I wouldn't think that would be so delicious. John didn't laugh. His father made him do it, he said. His father? I don't understand. He was bad. Who was bad? The father? No, the boy, stupid. John glared at her. But he was running around the house naked, see? He was just out of the bathtub. He was only little, 3 maybe. The woman smiled. That doesn't sound bad. It sounds very sweet. Shut up! John, she said to him, what's wrong? He was running around with no clothes on and he peed on the floor like a dog, like a stupid dog. It was bad. And so the father rubbed his face in it because that's what you do with dogs. John, I said shut up! The boy's face was contorted. It hurt him. When the father rubbed his face on the floor, it really hurt him, but he didn't cry. He never cries. Cry and you get hit. The woman nodded, watching him. And then the father said that if he was acting like a dog, he had to eat dog food. And that's what they gave him for dinner, that canned stuff. They put it in a bowl on the floor and told him to eat it like a dog. Who is they, John? I thought you were talking about a father. Well, there was a mother too, stupid. She put the bowl on the floor. He told her to. The father told her to, and she did. The woman nodded. Oh, the poor little boy, she said. No, the dumb little boy. It was bad. It was his own fault. And then he wouldn't eat the dog food. Of course he wouldn't. So he didn't get anything to eat that night. And in the morning, when it was time for breakfast, think there were Cheerios or anything? No, I think I know what happened. He was so stupid he thought there would be Cheerios, but it was the same dog food. And for lunch, same dog food. And for dinner, same dog food. And he was only little and hungry, and finally he ate it. And his father laughed at him. Ha ha ha! The little boy imitated harsh laughter. He rocked back and forth in his chair and kicked his legs against it. And his mother? I bet his mother didn't laugh, did she? His rocking subsided and he leaned forward. No, she cried and got hit, he said in a low voice. She always got hit. Finished with his breakfast, Toby padded over to the table where the two were sitting. He gazed up at John. What are you looking at, stupid? The boy jumped from his chair, overturning it so that it fell against the wall and knocked a small potted geranium from the windowsill onto the floor. Then he ran from the room. The woman sat silently at the table. She thought about the coming holiday weekend, Labor Day, and what she had planned to tell the boy that school was about to start. Chapter 24. It's coming back tonight. I can feel it. Littlest shuddered and looked up at Thin Elderly. They had just slid in under the door. Thin Elderly stood poised, listening and feeling. Yes, he told her. The air is tainted. They're on the way. They? Littlest asked in a worried voice. Yes, more than one. Shh. Thin Elderly tilted his head, and she could feel that he was holding his breath. After a moment he turned to her. "Smell that?" he asked. Nervously she sniffed. "Yes," she whispered. "Like garbage and something burning, something awful." He nodded. "We've smelled it before when we huddled, and he inflicted on the boy, but this is worse because they're coming together. It's the horde. Everything is multiplied, even the stench." "Should we hide?" she asked him, wide-eyed. "No, they don't want us. They're after him." He gestured up the stairs towards the boys' bedroom. "But why the horde this time?" Littlest was very frightened. The memory of the hot breath, the pawing hooves, the rank odor, and the dreadful hiss was terrifying to her. But it was true that the synesthete had not shown any interest in the dream givers as they huddled together in the hallway, so she was not frightened for herself. It was because of the boy. The synesthete had done such damage to him already. She was frightened on his behalf. They know we've strengthened him. It's made them angry. That's why they've gathered the horde, Thin Elderly told her. I fear for the woman tonight as well, he added. I think they're coming to inflict on both tonight. The dog, too? Littlest asked in a small voice. She sucked her thumb briefly. No, they don't bother with pets. Shh. He tilted his head and listened again. They're still some distance away. It seems they're holding back, waiting. Maybe for the sleep to deepen. That gives us a little time. Time for what? Thin Elderly sighed. More strengthening. It's all we can do, really. He looked at her, and she hastily put her hand with its damp thumb behind her back. "Do you have any fragments stored?" he asked her. "A few, not many. I always like to give him a big, complicated dream, so I use a lot of fragments. I did one the other night that had the beach and a kite, and I combined it with food things like ice cream and something called a hot dog." She grinned. "And when I added in Toby and Hee Haw both, they they all got mixed up in a big convoluted happiness dream." "Do you like that word, convoluted?" she asked shyly. "I just learned it." "Good for you. You can add words to dreams, you know." She nodded. "I'm working on it." Then Elderly sat on the lowest stair step. His knees jiggled nervously. He was thinking. "We don't have time to gather new things," he said finally, "so take what you have left. Are they pretty good fragments?" She nodded. "A baseball game. He got hit and felt proud. I have that still. And the time his mother sang him a funny song. Good. Combine those. And just yesterday his butterfly was born. It came out of the chrysalis. He was going to let it go tomorrow, but I touched it. The wings were still damp." "All right, that's a good one." And the dog, maybe some words. Laughter would be a great choice, and courage. Bestow as quickly as you can. I'll do the same for the woman. I've saved some good ones from that Afghan on the sofa. I'll add words to her bestowal as well. Peace, I think, for her. And maybe, he stopped to think, family. There was a noise outside in the distance, a whinny. Littlest one and Thin Elderly held hands and listened. "We must hurry," Thin Elderly said. "They're preparing to come." Littlest one fluttered quietly to the stairs, and they started up. "When you're done," Thin Elderly whispered, "meet me in the corner of the hall where we always huddle." He shook his head. "No, we might get trampled there when the whole horde comes through." "Where then?" She could tell that he was very nervous, and it terrified her. He had always been so calm and reassuring before. They were in the bedroom hallway upstairs now, between the bedrooms. Outside in the near distance, the noise was increasing. Hoofbeats, shrill, agitated whinnies. "The attic," an Elderly said. "Meet me in the attic. Now go, hurry, help the boy." They separated, and littlest one fluttered quickly to the place where the boy slept, still unaware of the impending danger. And that's where we'll stop today, boys and girls. 2 chapters. Let the lost my words as usual. The suspense. Let the suspense sit in. All right. Stay tuned for the next couple chapters tomorrow.